I don't know about you, but I learned that I work in the personal development industry. And my whole industry is wired to you've got to change all these things about yourself. And when you change all these things about yourself, you'll be happy and you'll be successful. But the reality is that many people they try and they try and they try to change so many things for so many years. And then have you ever noticed that a lot of people that no matter what they change, then they think, well, okay, I've changed that. Now I've got to change something else. And I have to change this. And I have to change more of that. And I've got to change more of that. And I have to do less of this and more of that. And a whole lot more of that. And I have this laundry list of things to change. So I want to go here, and you've heard me talk about this before, is I want you to create a short list, and a short list of 3 things. And these 3 things are, if you had more of these 3 things, then you know what? You'd have a better life and a better quality of life, and you'd be happier. So right now in your mind, just do a mental checklist of these 3 things, okay? Now, they might be, well, if I had more money, I would be happy. If I had a nicer car, I would be happy. If my kids are better, I would be happy. If my internet launches would do better, I would be happy. So notice your list, okay? And what I also want you to notice is that society and the way that it's set up, it programs us to achieve, and then we feel bad about ourselves when we don't achieve things. Think about that. Now, what I mean by that is we're programmed from the time we're little kids. I remember in 2nd grade that I was always taught the way to have a good life is to get a good education. And my dad and my mom taught me that you've got to be a really good student. And I remember, I think I was in 2nd grade, I came home with my report cards, and we've all been there. You know, you come home and you've got your report cards, and sometimes you want to show your parents, your report cards, and sometimes you're like, didn't get them today. And you lie about it or whatever as a kid. But I remember when I came home and I was excited because I got an A in some subject. And I thought in that moment, I'm proud of myself. I'm happy with what I did. I worked really hard. I mean, I did my ABCs or my cursive writing or whatever it is. And my dad looked at my report cards and he goes, okay, you got all A's. And then he said, and some of you might have heard this before, not from me, but in other places, or maybe even your own parents. He said, but doesn't that school of yours give A pluses? And in that moment, I learned that for me to get the approval of my father, then I had to be the best that I could possibly be and make the best possible grades and be the best example and leadership and all this kind of stuff. And I remember when I was in high school, I mean, I was a member of like a couple of sports teams, and I literally had many, many, many extracurricular activities. And my parents used to praise me for leadership, for winning awards. And I remember one time that I interned with a U.S. congressman in college. And my parents were like, we're so proud of you. Because it was a small town. There's a little article in the paper. A small town kid works in congressional office, blah, blah. And, good for the kid. But I look back and my parents were so proud of when I achieved something. And they told me how proud they were of me, that I was written up in the newspaper for achieving something. And so if you look at that, this applies to a lot of you, is that in our life, we're set up to achieve. And then guess what? If we don't achieve, if we get the A instead of the A plus, or we lose 3 pounds instead of 5 pounds, or we make 100,000 instead of 150,000, or whatever it might be for you, then we've set ourselves up for failure because now we're not happy.